We're live, Randy.
Good afternoon, or good morning. Today's Thursday, August 8th. This is the regular meeting of the Allegheny County Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors. I'm Randy Shaler, I'm the Vice Chair. Judy Hopkins, the chairperson, may be joining us if she can get connection via telephone. Rich Ewell, board member, is with us via the internet. Doug Frank, board member, is in the room, as is John Rickey, board member. We're also joined by IDA Executive Director Craig Clark and IDA Operations Director Barb Benjamin. Craig, will we have any guests? It was a little confusing in the email that I got.
No, we have no guests. No
So
one's asked. I thought the county might show up. So Ashley will show up later from the economic development. She wasn't going to be here on time.
Okay, so she will be
She'll be
joining
here.
us later.
Ashley Smith, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask the board members, seeing the agenda and in general, are there any conflicts to declare?
No.
Not hearing anything, let's go to the agenda. First item on the agenda is the board minutes from July 7th. We'll entertain a motion to accept those.
Judy is on.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And we see that Board Chair Judy Hopkins has gotten communication and has joined us via the internet. Welcome, Judy.
Good morning, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you.
Treasurer's report. Anyone have the other thing is we will have an executive session. You want to do that now, Craig?
Yeah, we can just do it now. Yeah.
Let's just do it now. Let's, if we can get a motion to go into an executive session for a contractual legal issue.
I'll move.
John?
Second.
Doug, second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We're
Unanimous.
live.
Okay, we're out of executive session. Next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Want to take a minute, and look at what we have. And I'll entertain a motion to accept that as written.
So moved, Randy.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
Doug moved, Rich second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Opposed? Carried. All right, next is the banking and financial summary.
As I said, and I sent out an email, we ended up paying off the mortgage. We've got the check in the package. We had to get the actual letter from the bank as to the exact amount. That's what the check's been cut for. So the mortgage will be paid off as of today.
It's got a nice feeling.
I know,
I remember when my parents did that.
I know. Burn
They
the
stopped
mortgage,
paying-
right?
They stopped paying $87 a month, and that was, what a change that made in our lifestyle. All right, can we get a motion to accept the banking and financial summary?
I'll move.
No,
John?
Randy.
Second.
Doug second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right, and the next item on the agenda is the long-term use of funds.
I just think we should keep it on the agenda, 'cause especially as we're getting more money, we need to figure out, we'll probably end up paying another mortgage off, I would guess, and then using some of the funds, as Rich has said, for what purpose. I would think first thing revolving loan fund, because people are always asking for those funds. And that actually generates a little revenue, but it's really to help businesses. So, and then we have to decide what to do with the rest of it. There are some things in the building to fix, like carpeting, but nothing big, not the numbers we're talking.
Yeah, and I am personally an advocate of not keeping a lot of money around.
Right,
I think when
we need to utilize it.
Yeah, we don't want to appear to be flush, because any source of income we may have might look at the flush nature that we appear to have. All right. Building maintenance report, Craig?
Well, we've continued to have some issues with the water system. We're nailing down why the actual chlorine amount keeps going up and down. And then on top of that, the carbon filter has to be replaced in the media because of the fact now I understand the chlorine is taken out by the carbon filter. The carbon filter wasn't working, and it was actually affecting the medium for the arsenic. So they're going to be replacing those by the end of the month.
So we're introducing arsenic to the water?
No, the arsenic, we take out arsenic.
Okay.
5-10 years ago, the arsenic levels really fell as to what you can have in your water. So we have a fairly large system down there that takes all the arsenic out of the water. It's very expensive. That's the only reason that eventually the trailer park will probably come on the system, because they have the same kind of a system, and it's very expensive to run. That's all I have.
Does none of that requires any action
No.
by the board,
No,
right?
we're okay.
Okay.
Who's doing that work?
Root well and well drilling, they take care of the whole system.
All right, next item is the approval of the resolution for the Alley Wind Project. And I believe,
You've got the full,
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
any discussion?
and as I've noted to the board members, I'll put on the record, we've had two public hearings. The first public hearing did run about an hour, and there was really one or two people that had questions, but they were good questions that Sean Perry from Inver Energy answered. There was no real negative about the wind turbine project. And last night in Rushford, there was nobody there except for the town supervisors, no questions. So we've only had really 1 or 2 questions, and they're fairly good questions. They were just asking about the project. So I think the right thing to do at this time, as you're doing, is proposing to approve that resolution.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Judy?
Judy?
Judy Hopkins, how do you vote?
Yeah, aye. Sorry, it went blank for a minute. Aye.
You're good.
No problem, thank you. Rich?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Unanimous vote. Next item is to approve the contract, the services contract with Alfred State College, and that is for the executive director. The services that we received, the vast amount of services we received.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
The high quality services we received.
Thank you, Randy.
All right, we have a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Motion from Rich. Was that a second, Judy?
Yes, it was.
Second by Judy. Any questions? I have one question, Craig. What
Sure.
does this represent as far as an increase, decrease?
There's an increase in there because my salaries increases at the college. That's the increase. I think it's from 83 to 88,000. Because I will clarify this, I get none of those funds. Those go to the college to help pay part of my salary is what that is.
And this is, we have in the past received remuneration from the county to offset some of this? Is
We have
that correct?
not, no.
We have not.
When we transferred from the county to the IDA, we've been paying the full amount. The IDA has.
Okay. All right,
I got one. Before I vote yes on this, I
Sure.
got one question.
Sure.
Since the lady in the room here is waiting for water, when's that letter gonna go out?
Well,
We talked about 4 or 5 months ago, putting a letter out to all the potential water.
That's
customers.
ACUC, but we'll be putting them out tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about it like
No,
5 months ago.
I've got the list. I finally got the list of who we need to send to. It's a very small list.
I know, and that's, what's it take to send a letter out, This is where, I'm a ditch digger by trade.
Right.
You wanna do the work in the summer, you don't want the letter to show up in November and say, hey, you got a month to hook
I
this
know.
up. So that's, why are we dragging our feet up?
I just haven't done it. I'm honest.
Okay,
I'm honest when I'm honest. You know that.
okay, and I'm honest,
I've got-
I'm honest,
I've got
I
the
wanna
full-
vote for
I've
it,
got
I
the-
want stuff done.
I got the full list, and Barb and I have gone over the list. We'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully we can get some water.
You want Oak Creek?
I'm sorry.
Oak Creek?
He's for the ACUC. This is IDA.
Yeah,
He can come in, yeah.
Okay.
I'll get him.
I was wondering if I was watching.
Oh, no, I think we'll carry that to the next meeting.
He's not talking.
Craig, does this require a roll call vote?
No.
Okay. All in favor of accepting and executing the latest version of the contract with Alfred State College? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Judy.
Opposed? Carried. Unanimous. All right. The next thing is on the agenda is to approve funding for an IDA lawyer to set up the County Economic Development Organization, 501c3 paperwork.
Yeah, well, we've been having meetings with Ashley and the county as the next step for the Economic Development Organization is they have to set up a 501c3, sorry. And it's best if it's done outside of the county. And I sent you the information and I've verified with Dan and the lawyer, it's between $9,000 and $12,000, probably be at the lower end of that. So I just wanted the board to know what it might cost. And Ashley will be the one working with our lawyer to get that set up. Do you have anything to mention about the?
What's the money for, Craig? What's the 9,000? What are they gonna do?
Well, they're gonna basically file all the paperwork, including the tax exemption. So it's not just getting the bylaws set, but you have to file the bylaws, and then you have to actually go through the tax exemption piece. And that's pretty valid. I've talked to other people. That's between $5,000 and $10,000 typically to do this.
Okay, thanks.
So it's not just one paper filing, it's 2 or 3 paper filings.
Can I recommend then that our motion be a not to exceed?
That's right. That's why I gave you the numbers.
Yeah, I would say 10 grand.
Yeah, I think that, and then we'd come back if it got over, but it should not be over 10 grand.
Can we have a motion?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Second, Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Next item is.
So I'll get you in touch with a lawyer. It won't be Dan, it's another lawyer.
And don't squander our money.
If anything, maybe even have it back.
Next item is review of the EPA draft for the proposed work plan. What is that, Greg?
Yeah, there's two things that EPA grant requires. One is to have a work plan approved, and I sent you a copy of that. I didn't send it out until I had it. It's not all approved, but it's primarily approved by the EPA. We can still revise it. It's still a draft. Basically, it's per the consultant's recommendation of what we put in for the grant. It basically gives you a timeline and how we're going to run the grant. Almost all the grant will be through a consultant. We'll have to put an RFP out to do that, to get somebody to do the grant, because obviously you have to have an engineering firm to do this work. So this is the first phase. Once that's approved, and the next piece is an accounting procedures. The EPA will give us the grant fund documents to sign sometime in September or October. So the grant will not start till October at the earliest. Might be later, but. Are there any questions on the work plan? It's pretty generic. It doesn't say too much, except for we're going to identify the sites to begin with. We'll have money to do phase 1s and phase 2s. And it'll all depend upon the ownership if they agree to do phase 1 or phase 2. So we're not going to go out and do phase 1 and phase 2s on property unless an owner decides that's what they want to do.
Okay. Any questions on that?
I know the county's all excited about this as well as I am, and so is Ashley, because what happens on these sites, hopefully you'll be able to find developers that want to get the tax credits to do the cleanup as well as actually do some development on the site. So we're a little bit behind. A lot of counties have done this before, but we've never looked at where our sites are in the county. My guess is there'd be quite a few of them in Wellsville, but they're all over the county, wherever we had large scale operations.
Craig, do you think ACs or the Ed Foundation or Alfred State College will be able to take advantage of any of that?
No, because that was a Superfund site. That's already been mitigated. So I don't think that site would be available for anything. Now, the Mapes building potentially, which is right behind the Alfred State campus in Wellsville, would be.
Is that the Barrel House?
Barrel House, whatever you want to call it. I always call it the Mapes building because that's what we always call it, but it's the Barrel House building. That would probably be eligible. So are there any questions on it? Is it okay to proceed with the EPA as that is? Now get you the final approved draft from EPA as long as unless you have comments on it. Again, I worked with a consultant based upon the actual original grant that was put in. That's what it really all is based upon, which they wrote.
Lacking comments or objections, I would say you should go forward.
Okay. I'll keep you informed. If it modifies again, I'll send you another draft of it, but I think it's pretty well set with the EPA.
Next item is the accounting procedures for the EPA grant.
And I know that will raise all kinds of questions. Barb and I and David from BWB have been working on it. I just need to know what you'd like to edit, change. I used a draft boilerplate from the EPA. We have not had written, we know what we do, but we don't have a written accounting policy, and this kind of solidifies that, which is good to have one anyways. And there's some things in there that we have to leave in because it references how we deal with federal grants. The other pieces are still subject to edits if you have edits. So I'm bringing it for review, not really for approval. I know Rich said you had a few comments, right?
Yeah, do you want me just to go through them real quick?
Sure.
Or I can email them
You can
out
email them out, that's
next
fine.
month, whatever.
Why don't you email them out and then we'll all just look at it and see. And if you have any other comments, it's very editable. It's very easy to keep changing stuff.
What kind of timeline are you on?
Well, the sooner I get this approved, because I've not sent this to EPA, the sooner we can get the grant kind of approved. So I would hope that we get it sometime to them by the end of the month if we could.
Is it reasonable among the board to have any changes or edits or questions we have back to these guys within 2 weeks? Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works fine. Yeah,
Works
yeah.
for you?
Yeah, it is a federal
Is that
agency,
reasonable?
but within 2 weeks it'd be fine. I think Doug and Rich should really look at it in some detail, and see if there's anything you see. In the last edit I sent out, we did strike some things out. BWB said there's some things we should change, so use that as the latest draft.
Okay. All right. Does that work for you, Rich?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you.
Judy?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so then I think we've resolved among this group, close the business 2 weeks from today. You go with what you got.
Well, I'll send out the full final revised copy
Right.
before I send it out, so everybody has the final revised copy. Thank you.
All right, old business.
Friendship property sale, I got an email recently that they're not gonna go through with the sale. They don't wanna buy the land. They said they have too many issues. I think might behoove us to actually talk to their lawyer and see if there's some way to still deal with that, if you don't mind. But I've got an email saying that they couldn't figure out how to deal with the liability issues. I think there probably is, but we'll find out. I'll do a discussion. I just got that, so. Okay, Rich?
Oh, that's fine with me. I mean, we could, probably have some kind of an agreement that if they get in trouble from an environmental standpoint, we could be responsible. That kind of defeats the whole purpose. I'd rather find another buyer who would just take it.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm just
No.
saying if there's some way to help them shelter a
Yeah.
little bit better, because I think you need to talk to an environmental lawyer, and I don't know if they talk to an environmental lawyer.
Yeah, good idea.
Because actually one of the business owners for the Wellsville Business Park, that's what they do for a living. That's why they bought the Wellsville Business Park, because he knew we could limit the liability. I mean, somebody like that is who you should talk to, I think.
Right.
So I'll turn them on to them and see if there's some way to resolve that.
Okay. Allegheny County LDC,
I have a resolution from Dan, which the county will be passing in hopefully short order. I'll pass it on to Carissa. So the county, as I've told you, typically right now that if you don't get county approval, it gets hung up on filing. So I'll get that filed shortly.
and the county strategic plan, economic development /EDO.
Well, Ashley's here. You want to give any updates?
Hey,
There's not a lot to update on. So the plan would be for Des to come back in, work with the Board of Legislators on the training. The IDA would be a part of that to just kind of shore up the rest of the strategic plan. I've looked at it from a perspective of, the next 5 years and a little bit more detail. I've pulled that together, so we'll be presenting that to the committee this month. And then Craig and I are starting to have some conversations on what that execution can look like over the next handful of years.
And the first part is getting that EDO, the actual 501c3 set up. So then she has a mechanism to do some things that you can't outside the county.
Correct.
Any questions for Ashley? Comments? Welcome, Tim Boyd.
Thank you. Sorry, Mike.
All right. Micro enterprise grant.
Mike is submitted the 6th draw and working on the 7th draw. So there's 2 different draws. So there's no change as far as funds that have gone out since the last time. But he's working with almost all of the companies. So I think we're in good stead as far as getting them finalized in the time frame.
Gateway Center.
Anything in the gateway?
There was
Just as you walked in, Tim?
There was a discussion yesterday with the Public Works Committee getting preparation for the County Road 51, so that we should see something starting in the fall. And the water line process is still moving forward. We check with Craig. We need to identify a business agent or business partner to help us with the funding piece through the ARC grant. We have submitted through Delta Development request for funding at the congressional level, somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.6 million to enhance the Gateway project. Those have been endorsed or received recommendations from Senators Schumer and Gillibrand, and Congressman Langworthy's moving that forward as well. So a lot of hopeful information that's coming out. And I know there's a meeting next week, maybe unrelated, related, talking about setting up water districts and the interplay between the IDA and the county to make that happen. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. The ARC, I've got a lot of ARC grants, my other hat, and the ARC requires that you have a basic agency, although the county should be a basic agency for this. They have to have someone else in the in-between of the grant. So the grant's money's sitting there, but you have to have someone else in the in-between, so they won't give the money directly to the county. They're working to get it through the Empire State Development. So, and they finally, I think, have got to that point where they're going to agree to do it.
I spoke with the governor's office Wednesday at the senior picnic, or Tuesday,
Right.
And they were helping to move that forward.
Yeah, so I think we're pretty much there finally. It's taking a long time. It's kind of strange how they do that, because the county, as I said, is more than capable of managing the grant, but it's not how the ARC works. So.
Anything else on the Gateway Center? Anyone? Clean energy projects.
I just leave it on there if there's any update. There are no updates on the small solar projects that have not started yet. I know at least one of them, the one in Burns, the 4 smaller ones talked about starting sometime by the end of the year. And I think the one in Wellsville, as well as the one in Work, will probably start, if not by the end of the year, in the beginning of the year. So they're all kind of waiting to, I think financing is one issue with the interest rates right now as they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they've not said they're not going to do the projects, but they're still moving forward. As far as the Cuba one, I have not heard anything else, except for I know they're trying to sell that project. Oya is. Because I don't think Oya is in that possible to actually develop it anymore. I think they're trying to get rid of it.
And Great Lakes Cheese in Cuba.
I have no update from Kathy Young. She says the one is still in play, but they're still wanting to stay where they are, but there's a company that may still move only because they're having trouble getting power where they're now located, so I don't know. And I know Ashley's been out there talking to them as well. So until they actually release the property, it's kind of hard to say it's for sale or for lease. So hopefully by the end of the year, they'll finally say what they're gonna do and let us know, because then we can put it out. I think it's actually would attract somebody. It's a good location.
But it's still functional, Great Lakes.
Yeah, they're
Cheese is
still
in
using
there.
it. Yeah, they're not talking about moving out until the end of the year, beginning of next year.
Well, they say it's available, it's technically not.
Yeah,
It's not listed for sale, it's not listed. for
that's what I'm
lease.
saying. So it's really hard for us to market it. Yeah.
I did talk to Lee James about an affidavit.
Right.
To see if we could just get them to sign off that it's okay to market. So we're getting that angle.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Any new business?
Must be Randy. It's a short meeting. What'd you jump?
Anything for good of the order? Any motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
John moves. Ashley seconds. No, sorry, you can't. Put your hand
I'll
down.
second.
Doug seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, we're offline.